Today we're making butter chicken, a dish renowned for its rich, creamy sauce and succulent meat, and we'll try to adapt it for the home kitchen. Starting with the marinade, we have our aromatic base of grated ginger and garlic. Ginger for a bit of freshness, garlic for a bit of savory umami note, Kashmiri chilli for a kick and a bit of color, turmeric powder for earthy notes and a different color. And of course, the famous warmth and complexity from the Garam masala, which we've covered on Monday. Now, most of the time, a marinade such as this, even with the help of salt, would merely be a surface treatment. If I were to put Kashmiri chili powder on my left cheek, after 24 hours, my right cheek is not going to be spicy because of the density of the flesh. But once you introduce acid, the game changes. Today, we have the milder acid in the form of yogurt, which will also bring some rich creaminess. The stronger acid in the form of lemon juice, which will also bring us some brightness. Together, acid will aggressively break down the proteins, tenderizing our chicken and improving its moisture retention capabilities. But more importantly, they will alter the structure enough for these bad boys to really get in. It is precisely because of the strength we don't want to over-marinate the chicken. In this case, a minimum of 4 hours for everything to really take effect, but no longer than 12. I'll see you then. After 4 hours, wiping off but saving most of the excess marinade, we're ready to cook. Of course, if you have a tandoor or barbecue, you can even keep the marinade to act as the moisture barrier. Hot pan, any high smoke point neutral oil. Today we're using ghee. Once the oil starts to shimmer, the chicken goes in. And now what we're trying to do is we're trying to cause the Maillard reaction. The amino acid in the protein reacting to reducing sugar. What's going to make this taste complex and meaty? And later on the caramelization, what's going to give us the complexity and the nutty taste? It is for that reason we wiped off the excess, because surface moisture is the #1 enemy to good browning. And the reason we didn't use butter right away, because butter has a smoke point of 150 degrees Celsius. And for those two things I just mentioned to meaningfully happen, the butter would have to burn. Ghee, on the other hand, which is not just clarified butter, but clarified while toasting the milk solids, has a much higher smoke point and a richer, stronger, nutty flavor. So if you have access to ghee, amazing, but please don't let the shopping stop you from cooking this. This is a rich enough dish. Use any high smoke point neutral oil and it will taste good. Beautiful. Put the other side. Now, once the thickest part of the breast is close to 6 degrees Celsius, the perfect doneness, and knowing the pan is still extremely hot, we add a small knob of butter to intentionally burn it. Not the elegant burn noisette kind of burn, but the uh-oh, I burned my pan kind of burn. This is going to introduce the smokiness and the slight bitterness you would associate with a tandoor. Along with the Maillard reaction and the caramelization, we are completing the tandoor trifecta for the home kitchen. Chicken comes out to rest along with the burnt butter. Now, in the same pan with all these amazing burnt flavors, we add a tiny bit more butter and we start building our aromatic base, starting with the chopped onion. And through heat, we're evaporating the water content of the onion to concentrate its flavors, in particular, the sweetness. And of course, the moisture release is now starting to deglass the pan, mopping up all those beautiful fond, beautiful burn bits, beautiful flavors. If at any point the bottom looks too dry, just the world's smallest dash of water, and this will prevent that from burning before we can mop up all the flavors. Once the onion's translucent, we continue to build our base with the same flavors, grated ginger and grated garlic, for some freshness, for some savory depth, and for some caramelized sweetness. And we're doing it in this order so that the natural sugar in the garlic will not burn. Next up, more spices. First, some cumin for some earthiness. some coriander for some citrusy floral notes to really balance the richness of the dish. A different form of chili, this time smoked paprika. A, to reinforce the Kashmiri chili, but B, to reinforce the smokiness we just brought with the burnt butter. And, as always, signature warmth and complexity from the Garam masala. And we toast them to really get the essential oils going. Now the umami bomb and the color this dish is known for. Tomato puree. Cook this out to further concentrate its flavors and remove a bit of the harshness. And before we add the tin tomato, a bit more liquid, just to have more control over the deglassing. The cooking method really dictates the intensity of your ingredients. Just look at the color we've achieved so far, precisely because how far we were willing to take them. Now the tin tomato goes in. Beautiful. We lower the heat to medium-low, lid on, and we simply let this simmer for 15 to 20 minutes. After 15 minutes, we taste. Look at that. Bit of salt. And before you add more cream than you need, consider our extremely flavorsome marinade from yogurt. To give the color a head start, and of course, a ton of flavors. Work it in. Now you can add however much double cream you want. At this point, you want to slightly lower your heat because you don't want the cream to split and curdle up. Ideally, you want this below 85 degrees Celsius. Optional fenugreek leaves for more aromatic depth and a hint of bitterness to balance the richness. But again, please don't let this chopping stop you from cooking this. Now you adjust how much smokiness you want from our intentionally burnt butter. Chicken pieces back in. You can carve if you wish. It was a rustic dish for leftovers. So you want to give the chicken just enough time to warm through. Stove off. Any green of your choosing, just for a bit of brightness, color, and balance. And that's butter chicken. You can't see the butter, but you can taste it.